Hello, welcome to Simple English. Here is a quote. Men want the same thing from underwear that they want from their women. A little bit of support and a little bit of freedom. My name is Callum Hems and I help people improve their English. That was, of course, a quote from the famous Jerry Seinfeld. And if you look carefully, it has a colon in it. And that's exactly what we are here to discuss today, colons and how to use them. So I'm going to take you over to my teaching wall and begin to explain. Here we go. Okay, so in this lesson, I want to show you 6 ways of using the colon. So let's take a look at the first way. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so the first way, number 1, we have colons used for subtitles. I don't know why this is in red, let's put it in black. So colons used for subtitles. Well, so for example, if you take the film, The Lord of the Rings, we can then put the colon there and the subtitle of that film is The Return of the King. The Return of the King. So The Lord of the Rings, colon, The Return of the King. I'll give you another example. The Mummy. I don't know why I put the Mimmy there. The Mummy. And we have Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. So this happens a lot in films. And if you take a look at the title of my video, I did that very deliberately. We have colons, how to use them correctly. So that's idea number 1 is I wanted to put this first because it's about titles. And I think that's really important that you cannot use this in the body text. So colons are used in titles. You have the main title and then the secondary, the subtitle. And that's the first way to use colons. Okay, so let's get into number 2. And number 2, if you take a look at my screen, number 2, colons for definitions. Let's give you some examples. So I could put the word peace, and then I want to put a colon, and then I want to define the word peace. So peace, colon, a state of tranquility and quiet. Another one, for example, acquaintance. If I can spell it, what is an acquaintance? You could be humorous here. Acquaintance, someone who you know well enough to borrow from, but not who you know well enough to lend to. And I'll give you another example. This is something, again, Jerry Seinfeld said. Jerry Seinfeld is, for some reason, all over this video today. Blogs. The worst word of the 21st century. Whether you agree with him or not, it is a good example to use for this. Colons for definitions, that's number 2. So let's get into number 3. So again, if you take a look at my screen, number 3, colons for lists. So let's give you an example. There are 2 options here, and we put a colon after that, and we can put run away or stay, full stop. So we've got the 2 options, run away or stay. There are 3 main cities in Ireland, colon, Cork, Dublin and Galway. So you've stated there are 3 main cities in Ireland, and then you put the list. Okay. Another option here, I'll paraphrase Einstein. I think it was Einstein who said this. two things in this world, whoops, I'm going to put in this world, are infinite, and then a colon, the universe and human stupidity. And then he put a comma and said, and I'm not sure about the universe, which is very amusing. So there is a rule here as well for this. When you are making lists, you want to avoid putting the colon after the verb. So for example, 3 types of food I enjoy are, and then colon, pizza, ribs and chips, fish and chips. So this is wrong. You absolutely cannot do this. Get a big red marker. The clause before your colon has to be an independent clause. What that means is it must be able to end with a full stop. You would put it like this. I'm going to change to black. So I enjoy 3 types of food. You see that that can end with a full stop. So there you can put a colon and you can put the same pizza, ribs and chips. The second part of the sentence that is here, it doesn't have to be an independent clause, but the first part absolutely does have to be an independent clause. So the second part can then be a fragment, even one word. It cannot have a subordinate conjunction in it, so you cannot say because or and, but that's it. But it doesn't have to be an independent clause. So you can put a list basically. 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things. Okay, so there's another thing that I want to get to, and it's this, the word including. So I like many foods, including, and some people do put a colon here. I will tell you that that's wrong. So you do not want to put a colon after the word including. You would just go pizza, ribs and chips. Sorry if I'm making you hungry. So, and also you cannot put a colon after, again, it's like a preposition. So for example, there are 3 foods. I would say it like this. I am fond of, just for an example. Some people put a colon here. Pizza, ribs and chips. So again, that is wrong. You actually need to remove the colon and put I am fond of pizza, ribs and chips. Remember, it has to be an independent clause. To clear that up and to conclude this part, I will put there are, or just I am fond of. You could put the following 3 foods. Okay, pizza, ribs and chips. You could simply just put I am fond of 3 foods and then a colon, pizza, ribs and chips. Okay, so that's how to use colons with lists. Remember that the sentence that is before the colon needs to be an independent clause. That is, it needs to be able to end with a full stop. It's got to be a complete sentence. And that's number 3. Hi guys, let me just pause and interrupt there. I want to remind you that if you're finding this content valuable, please like, subscribe, and also sign up for the notifications so you will receive a message when I release a new video. Thank you so much. Okay, so number 4. This will be colons. Number 4, colons to expand an idea. Right, well, for example, lions are predators. Okay, can we expand on that idea? Yes, we can. They hunt other animals. Okay, so both of these sentences, both of these clauses are sentences. I could put a full stop there. They both contain a subject and an object and a verb, but they are connected. So lions are predators, and then a connected idea, they hunt other animals. Let me give you another example. My car is really fast. It can travel up to 200 miles per hour. So again, the main part of this, of the two sentences, my car is really fast, and then a colon, and then the expanded idea, it can travel up to 200 miles per hour. I will give you another example here. So I decided not to go on holiday, and then a colon, and then I might put the expanded idea, the weather forecast was or is terrible, depending on your time. So we have the main idea, I decided not to go on holiday, and why? The weather forecast is terrible. And they're connected ideas, so I can connect them with the colon. I do want to point out something here, that if you notice, let me just change to red, after the colon, the letter after the colon, it's really writer's choice here. Some people will tell you never put a capital letter. Some people will tell you put a capital letter. I think that depends on the style guide, but that seems to be author's choice. And that's number 4. Okay, so let's get to number 5. That is, if you look at my screen, colons, number 5, colons for speech. So just want to point out that this is different for Americans than it is for British people. It's quite interesting. So as a Brit, I would not put a colon here. The Americans seem to put colons here. So he said, colon, get me out of here. Whereas a British person would put, he said, comma, and also the Brits only use one speech mark. Although I personally do prefer 2. But get me out of here. So the Brits don't use a colon like this. This does seem to be an American thing. Just another example, I can put the postman said, so, give me that mail. So actually you would capitalize the first letter here if it's the beginning of a sentence, because it's somebody is saying this. The postman said, give me that mail. You could put your speech marks there too. So again, Brits, the postman said, we just put one speech mark. Again, though, capitalized as well, even though after a comma, so you would put a capital here. Give me that mail. When an American is writing emails, they might put, dear sir. Okay, so they will put a colon here. You might have seen that. Or if it's dear Tom, yeah, they might put a colon here. What an English person would do, dear Fred. Then they'll put a comma. I always do this. I put a comma here. I'm a Brit. I think you ask any American, they'll put a colon there. So that's number 5, colons for speech. Okay, so for number 6, if you take a look at my screen again, number 6, this is colons for numbers. Okay, So one example of this would be ratio, and you might have the ratio of single women to single men on the island is 2, and then a colon to 1. Okay, so lucky for the men there. So yeah, in ratios. And then you've got time as well. So you could write, for example, 2:30 p.m. If you're doing it with the 24-hour clock, 14 colon 00. And also Bible references. I have posted this one in. I'm just going to enlarge the font a little bit. Okay, so I don't know how often you're going to want to reference the Bible, but there you go. The story of Menahem is found in 2 Kings in 15 colon 14 to 22. So that's your last reason to use a colon, is in numbers. Okay, let's get back to my speaking corner. Well, guys, I really hope that you got a lot of valuable information from today's lesson. Now, if you would like to read more and improve your punctuation, please take a look at the following books. These 3 that I'm putting on the screen right now are really good reads, although they are not punctuation guides. What this means is that they have a lot of trivial information in them, including fun facts, anecdotes, and the author's opinions, as well, of course, as a bit of history about punctuation. So you have Eats, Shoots and Leaves by Lynne Truss, Making a Point by David Crystal, and Have You Eaten Grandma by Giles Brandreth. And these next 5 that I'm putting on the screen right now are punctuation guides, all really useful books if you want to dive into the punctuation world. I used all of them to make today's video too. So you have the Blue Book of Grammar and Punctuation, the Penguin Guide to Punctuation, Collins' Easy Learning, Grammar and Punctuation, the Quotable Guide to Punctuation by Stephen Spector, and the Best Punctuation Book, Period, by June Casagrande. That is all for today's lesson. Thank you so much for watching Simple English. I hope you continue to improve your English. And for now, take care.